The camera is it's comfortable talking to all you guys, but I'm sure, is this started yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The camera is really kind of,
Did your wife see this?
I'm having a hard time with that, but okay, so I'll be discussing weddings and how I am not a fan, and so what's my credibility on this topic? I guess I have street cred because I got married at the Justice of the Peace, right? Quietly, didn't have anybody else get involved. Because me and my wife and I were both pretty introverted, so we just were not comfortable with the whole like big show and pomp and circumstance fiasco. So my agenda for today, I'm going to talk about the pain of the actual event of attending, and then I'll talk about the commercialization of weddings, and then I'll conclude with some statistics on divorce, which is a little alarming. So, okay, first off, so few gripes about actually going to weddings. So the first thing, somebody invites you to a wedding, right? The first thing is there's going to be travel involved. You're probably spending at least $400, $500, flying to go to a wedding. And then you get there, and it's not fun. It's not a relaxing process. It's like, getting ready for the Super Bowl. There's rehearsals and drilling and practice, and God forbid it's an organic experience that is enjoyable and you get to hang out with people. So it's all very stressful, I think. And then what I call costumes, that's the cheap, the crap tuxedo that you rent. And then the girls get into their, kind of tacky dresses that are like the most awful colors. And everybody just looks like a clown, So not a fan of the costumes, not a fan of, getting dressed up for stuff. And then there's the detailed planning, and, I think it's absurd that how much control there's like that desperate kind of desire for control over every aspect of it, like who's sitting where and what flowers are on the table. And to me, it just seems like what is the point? It's a lot of wasted energy, and then there's bound to be an awkward run-in where you see maybe that person that you grew up with that you haven't seen for a long time that you didn't want to see. Again, and then you've got to hang out with them for the weekend and listen to their sob stories when they drink too much and so on and so forth. And then there's like obligatory gifts, so it's not a natural event to give a gift to somebody at a wedding. There's a registry on bedbathandbeyond.com, and it's like, oh, they already have that. You need to get them the new high-speed blender toaster mix because that's what they want. So it's all very fake to me. And then photos, that's probably just like a personal quirk for me, and I think it stems probably from like my mom's like psycho about pictures, and so from a very early age she was always like wanting pictures, and then embarrassed me completely in high school multiple times. So I'm very picture averse. So I hate the photo stuff. All right. So the commercialization of weddings. So this is like a real figure. And I found this kind of interesting. So I have this theory that as the cost of weddings go up, right, as the cost of a wedding goes up, that the chance of divorce also goes up. And what I think that is like, the people who want the big fairy tale, like crazy wedding, like they're not getting married for the right reasons. And so I have a theory, and I'd like to study it if we ever get the opportunity, and that's that, there's a positive correlation between those things. So you can see since 1945 the cost of weddings has gone up substantially, and then it kind of dropped a little bit with the recession, but people are back to, playing out their fairy tales. So there's a whole wedding industry. There's a whole group of people who are making money off of your little fairy tale. And not your fairy tale, but off of people's fairy tales. And then wedding planners, again, not a real profession. I hope I'm not offending anybody, but it's not. And then there's venues, right? Like the destination wedding. This is like the most absurd thing. Like, hey, everybody come to the Bahamas, and it's not fun. So, what's the point? So people ask you to come and go through all this pain and hassle for them, but the chances are, there's not a high chance, there's not a great chance that's going to work out. You see there, these are real statistics. 41% of first marriages end in divorce. And then it actually goes up, which I found very interesting. It actually goes up as people try again and again and again. So, you know, there's happily ever after and all that stuff, and the big event, and come play and do the toast for us and say how awesome we are and how great we look together. But, you know, a lot of times it's a dead end. So, but there is, along with my theory that you can tell whether the marriage is going to work out a lot of times by the wedding, by how much money they spend. And there's some other things too, but I also think that you can tell with a theme whether the marriage will work out. And so one theme that I think is an indicator of a healthy marriage is the avatar. And who doesn't think this looks fun? Like, who would want to get completely naked and paint themselves blue? So that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody, but